that at the same time they're talking about mandatory vaccinations for measles in the US and around, there's an Ebola outbreak. It almost seems as if measles was a measly drill, sort of hammer it in your head that there's going to be something along the horizon, round the corner, that they're going to have to mandate injecting you with a vaccine. So you could have all fun and games and out there exercise your rights against the chicken pox. But how many of these anti-vaxxers are actually going to hold fast to their rhetoric when it comes time to really defend their body from authorities taking control of your body against your will, violating the Nuremberg trials, which basically tried SS Nazi doctors who were performing medical procedures on Jewish people against their will. I mean, nothing's really changed. It's almost like they waited for every World War II veteran to finally pass away before they could, all right, let's get back to where we were. Finishing World War II. And the Nazi experiment. Nothing going on here. You do not see anything here. Everything we fought for in the West, freedom of choice. Definitely, I think it was a foregone conclusion that freedom of your body was paramount above all freedoms. If it was not the freedom to express yourself, at least you had the freedom to choose what you put in your body. And we have one rule here in a civilized country, civilized society, is you don't fucking touch me. There's one rule. I don't touch you, you don't touch me. Very simple rule here. But now it seems the Gestapo is back in power. All over the world, there seems to be a tyrant regime that's deliberating in the House of Commons, Parliament, Congress, Senate, Chambers, whatever you call it. It's all under the crown, or the crowns, the sovereigns, debating whether or not you have personal autonomy. Your body is yours. Under the pretext of the maximum good for the maximum amount of people, John Stuart Bentham Mill's utilitarian principle for the good of all. Your personal good, freedom, can't trample the freedoms of the herd, the group. Last I checked, we weren't animals, but it seems the government is now treating us as such. I want to go into this Ebola outbreak right now. I want to take you on a tour through the World Wide Web and what's popping up, slowly familiarizing you with this ever-increasing threat, this dastardly virus with no cure, and yet if you contract it, you're in quarantine and they give you a shot or something. Now, we've seen people get quarantined who are completely healthy, get the vaccine, and then come down with Ebola. And the medics say, oh, it was too late. We tried to save them, but the symptoms ensued and then the virus took over. It's interesting, too, is that you can never get close to one of the victims because it's such a serious disease. So we can't see somebody in full-blown Ebola outbreak vomiting, shitting, and evacuating their organs out of their orifice because it's just such a dangerous disease. So, and We dare not send in camera crews for the risk of the camera crew contracting the disease. Well, isn't that a perfect boogeyman? What else does that remind me of? Terrorism. We don't know where it is. It's serious. It's all around us. It's spreading. And we don't know who. Your next door neighbor could be a terrorist. The man down the street. The one in the lorry. The one in the bus. The person at the mall. The one touching the fruit. The one in the airport. We don't know who's a terrorist. We don't know who has the virus. Oh, that's great. So first I was worried about some human being. Now I'm worried about some invisible germ floating around in the air. Isn't that perfect? They've trained you. Don't you see? They've trained you. Now, you've got to look at the video first of someone suffering from Ebola. I've been just racking my brain, surfing the web, Google Images, YouTube, trying to see this. I've seen movies, I've heard the word, it scares me to death, but it's all in my imagination. I've never actually seen a real person going through the devastating symptoms of Ebola. Like I've never seen the globe. I've never seen Christ. Like I've never seen Bin Laden except on TV. And when they finally disposed of that body, it was out in open seas with no international witness. No, not open to journalists. For crying out loud. You finally caught the man who took down the world's largest buildings on American soil with planes. But nobody could say you get rid of the body. Right, okay, so. And now we're at the same old tricks with the virus. I'm starting to think that everything was sort of a training wheel for the monkeys to get ready for this. Because pound for pound, when you look at it, when you look at all of this, it functions the same way as the fear of terrorism, as the fear of carbon emissions, global warming. Are we in a cycle? Or are they like planes being misused to drop chemistry to aggravate weather patterns so it will suppress them altogether? You've got to be very careful that they aren't going to have some white plane that you think is just commercial air traffic, or just a regular plane doing a chemtrail cloud seeding or cloud suppression streak across your sky that won't drop the Ebola. And what is Ebola? It showed up in the 70s out of nowhere. Take away the word Ebola. It's some sort of sickness they discovered near a river called Ebola in the Congo. Well, they had to call it something, right? So let's call it the river. They ruined the tourism of that river, right? Where are you going this weekend? Oh, we're going to go up the Bola for a sneak peek, maybe do some barbecuing. You want to come? No. I'm not going anywhere near that river. It's not the river named after Ebola. Yes, it's the river where the virus receives its name. I want to just go through what we got on the internet right now as proof evidence from the snake people, World Health Organization. I call them snake people because they got an emblem of a snake with some ancient Babylonian rod stabbing through a flat Earth UN flag map. So let's take a look at what we got. Let's surf the internet together and see at what level. So the first thing that shows up is 2 days ago, literally. We're going to go there right now, real time, so you can see this. May 25th, right? So, photographing the Ebola crisis, the hot zone. What's interesting is that at the same time as Ebola spreading throughout Africa, right after there's been training people to get vaccinated for something benign as the measles. Just by coincidence, there's a TV show called The Hot Zone about Margulies or some actress about the Ebola outbreak in Virginia at the CDC or the whatnot back in 2014 with Obama. And so it's kind of blurring between still shots, the reputation of National Geographic, which isn't that good when you think about how many stories they've hoaxed and frauded, like the elephant poachers back in the day. They basically rented elephant tusks with a serial code, and some keen photographer zoomed in and saw that there was a serial number on each of the tusks, and he did like a shaky camera shot with these tribesmen, these Zulu tribesmen. It made it look like they were in the action of like hunting down some sort of elephant, and the serial code was found when they zoomed in on the photos, which indicated that the tusks were rented out from a nearby shop so they could fraud a story about elephant poaching, because there was none going on. We could go into space imagery back in the 60s and 70s and the lunar landing and all that, and you could tell me if that's real too. I mean, they're pretty much getting, according to National Geographic, supplying pictures from NASA, then okay, well, yeah, they went to the moon. Yeah, according to the people who landed on the moon, they went to the moon, and it's published by National Geographic. National Geographic, by the way, is a department of the US government. And when you look at that header, National Geographic, that's a national Earth image, right? It's an Earth image. Yeah, they're going to give the truth about anything going on Earth, including whether or not it's a globe. So let's take a look. I'm going to bring you through this. You tell me if at any point you see evidence of Ebola. But I'll explain, because I don't have the sound on this bloody hell software, OBS, which is provided, I believe Google's behind it.
Writing's not that easy.
But you can hear the garbage that's going on before it, right? They need to advertise. So, go right to it here. So, this is 2 days ago. So they already dispatched one of the journalists on the field. There she is talking, right? And then we've got a shot of a woman. She's got no lesions, no boils. Take a good look at her face. There's a man who's very overbearing, very sort of intimidating costume there. He's in full quarantine protection, gloves, apron. I don't even know who he is, right? It could be somebody, it could be an actress, an actor, you don't know. She doesn't know the woman here. She's gone in because they told her, we think you're coming down with something. What's that? Ebola. Oh my God. How do you know? Well, we don't know, but you better come in here because your children are sneezing and it's spreading and they could die. Well, this woman, I believe, she lost her 2 children after she entered this Ebola quarantine tent. Now, here's this gentleman, a very, very daunting outfit, right? With his rain slickers on, goggles, the whole kit. There she is. This is a disease that you break out into lesions and you start vomiting and excreting and bleeding out of every whole orifice in your body. Okay? Now this woman here, she's got one red stain on our hand, which I believe they did. Right. I've got a picture here of this man. I've got another picture of this woman here. I've got this reporter speaking on behalf of what she's seen. I'm removing the sound so you can see it for what it is. Okay? And she's going on. Now, she's going on about how she couldn't even enter the areas of quarantine. And she could not go into certain zones because of there were war zones. So we've got basically rebels. We've got rebels fighting government forces. It seems we've got UN soldiers that are protecting the medical facilities. Right, so you've got these soldiers that are rebels against the Congolese army. You've got the Congolese army, and you've got the UN soldiers protecting the medical facilities all at the same time. Right, here you go. What's going on here? Well, it seems like a nightmare. There's a plague breaking out, much like World War I with the Black Plague, breaking out in the middle of a war zone. And they say that over and over again. And without any audio, you see some graves here with some crosses. We've got a name here, RIP 2018. Born. Nay, that's French for born. So this chap here, or whoever it is, was born in 2018. Okay? So that's a baby's grave right there, newborn's grave. So we're supposed to put these graves together with the narration of the journalist and assume that these are burials for Ebola victims. Because the journalist speaking says so and shows you the photo. Not a video, photo. Again, no motion video. Why not motion video? Show it. So, are these graves for Ebola victims, or are these graves for soldiers and casualties of war? Boom! Which is it? I've got a photo here, no video. I've got another photo here, no video. That's National Geographic. They pride themselves in photos. And there she's talking. There's another one here. I'm still waiting. There we go. There's somebody who allegedly has Ebola, standing upright. Doesn't seem to be puking any blood. Is this a worker? Is this someone who they suspect? Is this the beginning of just rounding them up and chipping them? Or vaccinating them? We keep going. This is a worker spraying down a worker, a medical official. I've got a lot of medical officials. And let me see. Let's go back a bit. Is this woman here in this plastic cube? Is that the same woman we saw in the beginning? Oh, well, looky here. The same red dress. It looks like you only got one Ebola suspect in your entire documentary about Ebola spiraling out of control in the Congo. Be very careful, people. The measles epidemic was a dry run. It was a test. It was a test. It's all happening at the same time. More government workers. I see a bed there with some fabric. Are these actors in suits? National Geographic frauding the results of a flat earth measurement experiment with false flat earthers that were really globalists trying to be the buffer narrative so you don't read the real flat earthers and their real experiments. Also recommended by YouTube and Google. And each one of these flat earthers has the Google logo, a top left frame of their streaming videos. Who would do that? Google's like a multinational. It's a government company, for crying out loud. It's got a bigger GDP than most of the countries of the world. Who puts the logo for Google? National Geographic used those people to dispel and discredit the flat earth. And here they are, up to the same old tricks with Ebola. Right, so we've got one woman here with no lesions, not puking blood, in 2 shots. And she continues to narrate. Let's continue. National Geographic, ladies and gentlemen. National Geographic. Right. It's serious. The UN's there. It's serious. That's a great shot. Do you line up for that? Is he posing? Is she posing? Are they posing? And there she is. She might believe Ebola exists out there, but she can't get close to it, and she admits it because it's just so devastating. There's an Ebola victim. She just wants to go home. She's fed up of staying there. She's where they're going to give it to her, or God knows whatever it is they named after the river. And there she is some more. The narration. This man's being screened. So far we've got a huge surveillance, police, WHO tracking system being rolled out in the centre of Africa. Still waiting to see someone with Ebola. I'm still waiting. There's this poor chap. There he is. And there she is some more. They're familiarising you with being chipped. It's the same system to verify you've been microchipped, to see that you've got all your dum-dum juice injections, all your autism injections, or your cancer expiration date injections that will onset when you're 70 years old, or whenever they need to activate it because of overpopulation or over-awakening. The Earth is not a globe. You must understand that before the NASA channel, before the flat Earth, there was only this channel. That's it. And you've got some more Ebola victims here. Ebola suspects, terror suspects, people going in who've been putting their hands on dirty hooker money and then going into Aldi's or Safeway, touching all the produce, infecting everybody with the dirty black hands from Africa full of Ebola germs or measles. Right? Too many of you, you're filthy. That's the narrative here to chip you so you could lose autonomy over your body. Another beautiful shot. There she is again. Still recovering from her acne. There's this one here. She's screaming because they probably just took her child away because she's suspected of terror, Ebola. Now, here's a casket. Now, I saw the footage of Venezuela. They were swapping crowd shots on Global News, video of crowd shots of Maduro's crowds and editing it to make it look like they were all drawn about, huddling around Guaido. Is this a victim of the war or a victim of Ebola? Because we got soldiers here. Oh, we almost lost him on the battlefield, but he caught Ebola first. All right, well, let's just get a shot of us putting the coffin in of an Ebola victim. They're swapping footage. National Geographic here is swapping footage, manipulating the viewer that these are all victims of Ebola in a war zone. They're casting a spell on you. Well, nothing's clear here. There she is again. Getting her salary, you happy? You fake journalist. There's some more soldiers. Now, was that a cross of somebody who was buried because they died of Ebola? Or is that like a cross like in the poppy fields of all the soldiers who have crosses erected? There's finally some video, but nothing. The whole town is covered in Ebola. Is that it? At this point, I guess some people watching this is thinking that entire town is infected. All those infections are in that town. You see how they lead you with imagery? So there's National Geographic using the Ebola crisis to advertise a TV show with the so-and-so Margulis, the actress, that's been in production for the last year or two. So, look at the timing there. I mean, it's that bad. It's that bloody bad. Right. You could go on Google Images. You tell me. I'm going to go on Google Images right now. I want to show you people on Google Images that I'm going to try to find on Google Images, right, what it looks like to have Ebola. Here we are. We're going on Google Images. Here we are. Click on Images. You tell me if you can find somebody. And all right, so here we are. Ebola victim. And for good measure, dying on hospital bed. For good measure, right? All right. I mean, if this is a real disease, from what I was told in all the movies and lore and pop culture surrounding this deadly disease, I should see some right off the bat. I should see some. For God's sakes, are you saying that you're not even taking images, video, photos, so people could see how serious this is? Puking and vomiting, shiting out all your organs, blood coming out of every hole in your body, and I can't see any images attesting to the fact that these are the symptoms. This is what happens. Where is it? More people, more concerned and paranoid about their health than the two suspected of having Ebola. It was Reverend Jesse Jackson. Oh, he's an Ebola victim. He survived. So how he survived? Intervention, vaccine. I'm still here. Look at the title. Ebola victim dying on hospital bed. I'm not getting anything here. Still going down. I got a girl here. She looks like she's dying. Oh, this is pretty gruesome. Oh, that's pretty bad. It says this confirmed footage is captured of a man who scientists watched die from Ebola, then only several hours later regain life. It's terrifying. It's a zombie sort of it's a zombie image. Is that real? Is that Ebola? If that's Ebola, I'm terrified. Let's keep going here. There he is again. I've got somebody here. Again, the symptoms are bleeding, profuse bleeding. I imagine you're going to lose a lot of body weight, especially in Africa. If you're dying of Ebola, look at this boy here. He looks like he's completely awake. Doesn't look that malnourished. He's not bleeding profusely. His eyes are wide open, not like a dead person. What's going on here? Where is this Ebola? right? Like, where is the video of the Earth in space, total globe, not an eighth of it, doing at least one spin on its supposed axis? I don't see it. I don't see Ebola. Just apply the curriculum. Photo or painting, real or fake. Where's the video? You must have something on or recorded of how devastating this disease is, showing all the blood evacuate from the body, at least behind the plastic of one of these plastic cubes. Again, more workers pulling out a body bag, no body. This is perfect. This is a perfect, they spent 50, 40 years here. And here's somebody else here, he's dead, but did he die of gunfire? There's people praying on this one here. There's somebody in I've got a Chinese doctor here with a reflection of himself, right? It looks like he's suffering from Ebola in his reflection. I've got this black guy here in a green shirt. Again, the title I put in here is Ebola victim dying on a hospital bed. Is it just me? But just censoring me, that protecting my precious little eyes from seeing this? Or where is it? Video. Look up video. There's nothing. Nothing educational. Call up the CDC. Ask them if they've got any archival footage of someone dying and the processes they go through with this profuse evacuation of blood and organs from the body, from this dangerous, life-threatening, devastating virus that's spiraling out of control as we speak. No one sprayed down. Workers spraying down workers. Sounds to me like they're the ones that are paranoid. It's funny how paranoid people call us, those who notice there's nothing going on, conspiracy theorists. And then they'll say we're paranoid. We're paranoid, yes, that you're lying and this is a hoax. And we're paranoid that you're paranoid. We're also paranoid that you're coming to get us because we noticed your fucking bullshit. Still waiting for that body on a dying death, but here's one right here. And we've got like the head here surpasses 5,000. All right. This woman could be sleeping. She could have died of something else. She could have, I don't see any blood. Where's the blood? Well, she just was pulled out. She's put in an area, Matt. Well, look, the disease, as described by the CDC, causes profuse blooding out of the mouth, the eyes, the ears, of the internal organs, and all your blood supply. Now, even if you died from that, you're going to be covered in blood. You're going to have some leakage going on. Absolutely nothing here. You're making sure you got clean photos. Actress. There he is again, the man in the green shirt. It seems to me they might be even rotating the same people. I mean, if you can get crisis actors in the US for 16 quid an hour, I'm pretty sure you can get a few of these people for a bag of rice. I'll be a bit racist and cheeky here, but look, there we go. There's the boy again, with the blue shed behind him. There's some men coming out of an ambulance. Some more men dressed up. This one here's digging a grave. I guess he's getting ready for the 5,000 victims. I'm still looking for them. Nobody took a photo here. Nobody for educational purposes to show how dangerous this disease is. No video of the Earth doing one spin on its axis. And I can't find one video of how this disease takes a toll on the body, causing people to profusely bleed out all their organs. Oh, for God's sakes, you used to have public autopsies in Britain, downtown London, where people could witness surgeons cutting someone open, dissecting them. Live dissections were all the rage back in the day. You could buy tickets like it was a Broadway show. I can't say anything here. And it would seem to me that you would want the world to know how horrible this disease really is, as opposed to just showing WHO workers in a battlefield with UN workers with guns. When is that gun going to be turned on the town that refuses to be vaccinated? I've got live, close, I guess it's artwork. Again, this could be outer space, but it's now the inside of a virus. So that's what you get when you type in. And I imagine that I'm pulling from the entire World Wide Web. Ebola victim dying on a hospital bed. I found absolutely fuck all. Fuck all. Bring your attention right here to there's a patent for Ebola. That's correct. There is a patent. I wish I could find it here. It's unbelievable it's been taken out. Let's try this one more time. So it's been taken out. Let's do this one more time. So you'll understand that it's a screenshot of the page. CDC has patented something they call, or they named after a river in the Congo that is known as the Ebola River. They've created something in the 70s, I believe, or a new strain, in which they refer to it as Ebola, a virus. That's correct. The CDC was originally a branch of the US military under the Pentagon control. So it was created in the event during the Cold War the US was hit by biological weapons. They would be able to quickly, rapidly respond with vaccines and cures to offset the casualties, the mass casualties that would be incurred by such an attack. That's the reason why the CDC, the Center for Diseases Control, was created. It's a branch of the US military. So, at what point has it weaponized against all of us in order to create a massive rollout of a tracking system that's going to be used for microchipping humans in a cashless society, because we can't have dirty dollar bills and coins in our pockets if everybody's contracted measles or Ebola, right? It's all hand in hand with the banksters here. They know this in the Congo. That's why they're raiding these WHO tents. I'm not advocating violence against medical officials here, but in that culture, they basically equate the Ebola vaccine and intervention by the WHO as satanic. So they really got an uphill battle with those people. And good for them. Until they could produce, one-shot footage, unedited, video motion of at least a handful. If you're saying it's spiraling out of control, a handful, at least a dozen people for educational purposes. So we could see how serious this is, really. If it's that serious, you should have something on video that we could all look at. We could study. We go, oh my God, that's pretty bad. That's exactly what they said that it would be. No, nothing. Just in Margellis, some journalist that works for that rag, Nat Geo, which is into producing fiction to promote fake realism. That has some ideological agenda behind it, where they want to basically own your body so they can microchip and track you. Everything was lead up. Terrorism was all lead up for this terrorist germ It's floating around invisibly like a boogeyman, like Bin Laden, like terrorists. But now it's in the air. Here's your pattern right there. There it is right there. Oh, you look it up for yourself if you think I'm faking this. Go to CDC, look at the pattern for Ebola. So somebody said, well, I'm going to patent this. This is some good stuff. We'll basically have everybody hand over their bodies in order to get the cure. That'll be the trade-off. If we get this many people ceding over the autonomy over their minds, their body. Each body is worth something on the stock exchange. Now we completely own them. That's got to be worth something. I could use this little germ I create. I'm going to call it Ebola. I want to pick a dirty river in Africa because that will basically feed into everybody's, stereotype racism of Africa being a filthy, shanty town of germs and bacteria. People out there, third world, we brainwash the world or shit scold them to thinking that all of Africa has always been third world and always will be. Third world means you're poor, dirty, full of disease, war, famine, not able to feed themselves, not getting a leg up. Third world country is a perfect place to say this originated from. I'm certainly not going to originate from downtown London, city state. So this whole thing is racist at the root. Completely fucking racist, Africa. I mean, I'm completely on the side of Africa. If they wanted to basically kick out every white man there, just leave a place for me because I'm going to need some help in asylum for sticking up my neck out for you and the rest of the world as a result. This is dehumanizing. It's been a huge campaign. Huge campaign. Let's just look at the ingredients in a vaccine that your child will receive in sequence over its lifetime if you submit your child to modern healthcare officials and a pediatrician. Here we go. You check it out in the link. If you think this is bollocks, you could go in the description of this video and you will see that all these ingredients have been extracted from every vaccine they claim will prevent disease. This is what they put in the needle. They put in a newborn, 7 months, 2 years, 5 years, even grown adults that want to go to college and get some sort of education, if that really is your cup of tea. Let's go through this. Human diploid fibroblast cell cultures, strain WI-38, whatever that means. I hope it works. Someone came up with that. Dulbeco's modified Eagles medium. Oh, is that right? Are they playing tonight? That sounds like a good band. Fetal bovine serum. I imagine this is just a list of heavy metal bands. Fetal bovine serum playing tonight. Sodium bicarbonate. Well, we all know what that is. I could figure that out. Monosodium glutamate. Am I at a Chinese buffet? Sucrose. Oh yeah, you can put sugar in there. Just sweeten the deal. D-mannose. D-fructose. Oh, I'm just waiting for, high fructose corn syrup. D-fructose, dextrose. What is this? The recipe for bubblegum? Human serum albumin. So if you're vegan, there you go. You're a cannibal now. Potassium phosphate. Okay, a fertilizer. Plastone C. Anhydrous lactose. So much for being lactose intolerant. Or maybe you're lactose intolerant because you had some anhydrous lactose. Dum-dum. Microcrystalline cellulose. Polyacrylamide. Oh, now you're just making shit up, mate. Potassium. Magnesium stearate. sterilize you. Microcrystalline cellulose. Is that some microscopic sugar? Is that it? Magnesium stearate. Cellulose acetate, phthalate. Alcohol. Get drunk. Hold off the measles. Acetone. What are we making? Epoxy here? Castor oil. Acetone. In the blood of a baby. FD and C yellow, or whatever that means. They got their own internal trade secrets here. Yellow, number 6, not number 5, aluminum. Aluminum lake dye. I didn't know that they dyed lakes. I guess they dye lake with the bauxite from the aluminum plant. That's what makes the water red. Amino acids, vitamins. Oh, finally, something that makes sense. Some vitamins. Can you specify what kind of vitamins? Inorganic salts. Oh, that's great. Bath salts. Sugars. Didn't you already put some dextrose and sucrose and some cellulose and some saccharin in there? Aluminum. I think they're repeating themselves. Let's put some more sugar. Oh, you got white sugar and brown sugar. Is that it? Aluminum hydroxide. Always good measure. Sodium chloride. Benzothonium chloride. A radioactive chloride. Formaldehyde. Oh, yeah, that's great. Formaldehyde. It's toxic in your flooring, in your house, but it's safe in a needle injected in your blood supply. Glycerin, asparagine, citric acid. Can't go without. It's always in everything. You got to have that citric acid in there. Magnesium sulfate, iron ammonium, phenoxyethanol. Again, these are components you would put in epoxy for sealing a floor, like my friend says. Stainless Schultz medium. Okay, so we've got mediums named after 2 guys. Are they jerking off in this? Casamino acids. So if I said that wrong. You don't even know what you're talking about. You can't even pronounce it. You're not some expert. It's casamino. It's casamino acids. You dolt. Dimethyl beta. Cyclodextrin, of course. Muller's growth medium. Another one jerking off in your supply. Ammonium sulfate. Modified Muller. Oh, the Muller report's in there. Modified Muller. Muller and Miller. I got them both here. They got Muller and Miller. Both their reports jerked off in the casamino acid medium without beef heart intrusion. Good. Without the beef heart infusion. Well, I hope I don't keep reading. I'm going to see that beef heart infusion because I want it out. Right? I don't want beef heart infusion. I just want the casamino acid medium from Miller and Muller's jerk-off seed. Varroa cells, whatever that means. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you don't even know what a Varroa cell is. No, I don't know what its relation is to combating the measles or Ebola. I'd like to see the test results on that. Well, first off, you've got to produce somebody actually infected with what you describe as Ebola. A continuous line of monkey kidney cells. Oh, a continuous line. What is this, a factory line? It's only assembly line. I've got just more kidney cells. It's continuous. Even though they've injected it in you, they're still coming in. I don't know how they're coming in, but it's a continuous supply. Why don't you just say continuous supply of monkey kidney cells? Continuous line. Line them up. Line up them kidney cells from the monkey, and you wonder why your baby acts like a fucking ape and thinks you evolved from that. They're injecting you with ape seeds, monkey DNA. Medium 1999 from Prince, I imagine, without the Calfa serum. Good. I lobbied against the Calfa serum. Didn't want it in my medium 1999. I just wanted the record from Prince. Glutarolide, whatever that is. So you don't know what the glutaraldehyde is. But I do know what that nemesian is. Polymyxin B sulfate. Oh my God, this is like looking at some equation for a light year. You just want to give up. Polymyxin B sulfate. Fenton medium. All these mediums. Yeah, what's the difference between something being a medium and the rest not being a medium? Is it just like fictitious air or something? Oh, imagine it's all some sort of fucking medium. I mean, the syringe is filled with some medium itself, isn't it? And containing a bovine extract. And what part of the fucking bovine was that? Right? It doesn't matter as long as it's from a bovine. Bovine's a big class of fucking animals. Modified Latham medium. Again, medium. So when do they decide to apply the word medium and not? Derived from bovine casein. Casein's the milk product from bovine. So that could be moose, bovine, steer, bull, cow, calf, bison. It goes on and on. Ox, calf serum. It doesn't matter as long as it's bovine. Calf serum. Oh, so wait, you got bovine casein and bovine medium, but then you specify calf serum. Again, is this the calf from a bison? A calf from a steer, moose, deer? It's all bovine, I imagine. Lactoburnin. Of course. Hydrocell. Did we already put that in? I don't want to double dip here. Hydrolysate. Bovine serum albumin. And again, we've got some more Muller report and Miller medium. The culture medium contains... Oh, now you get specific. So, so I'm clear on it because the others I was apparently clear on. Right? The culture medium contains milk-derived raw materials, casein derived. Just in case at this point you're starting to doubt our concoction. Saline. That's salt. I get it. You're smarter than me. You use saline. But is that chlorinated water? Is that water with fluoride? Because I imagine there's some water in that saline. Synthetic medium. Now you really got me at a loss. I got something that you got a medium in there. That's pretty vague. And then you got something that's synthetic. Do you care to clarify? I mean, you clarified the kind of, dairy extracts that you got from what bovine at one point. But here I got just a random synthetic medium. Can you care to elaborate? Synthetic. What does that mean? You putting plastic in my child? Complex fermentation media. Right, okay. Are you making pickles? What are you fermenting here? A bunch of college grade graduates making a piss poor beer. There's a lot of things that are fermenting, let alone complex fermentation. You got to be more specific. You just broke down milk-derived raw materials from a culture medium. In brackets, after the fourth inclusion of some dairy product in your fucking medium, in the Neo. Let's go on. Amorphous aluminium. All right. That's good. So you've got something here that's transforming a little Harry Potter aluminum with the aluminum. Would you like some magic aluminum with your aluminum? Well, the Illuminati. There you go. Phosphate dehydrate. Soy peptone. Can't do any proper injection without soy, right? That way you can't get those man boobs. Amorphous aluminum hydroxyphosphate sulfate. All right. More aluminum, but more with a dash of sulfate and hydroxyphosphate. Phosphate buffer. Yeah, we're going to need that. Got a lot of phosphate here. Need to buffer it. Polysorbate. Finally, some polysorbate. I was wondering when. I finally got a polysorbate in this. Good. Now you're starting to make sense. Monobasic sodium phosphate. I've got polysorbate 20 and some monobasic, just to make sure for good measure, with the hydroxyphosphate sulfate and the millimolar jerk-off spermatozoa. This is bullshit. Dibasic sodium phosphate, monobasic potassium phosphate. You're repeating yourself. Potassium chloride, calcium chloride. Okay, you're putting limestone in there. Limestone in my baby's blood. That'll prevent the chicken pox. Right, because it's going to give my baby a whole batch of other problems. Sodium taurodexaca. Who's naming this? Ovalbumin, beta-propylactone, squalane. Not good stuff here, folks. Sodium citrate, dehydrate, neomycin, kanamycin, barium. Because barium will do it. egg proteins, finally a bit of salmonella. I imagine if I were to put egg with all the rest of this, I guarantee you that salmonella just got 10 times worse. CTAB, well, okay, like you got to spell that out for me, all right? Cetra, I'd like to see the scientists who made the list repeat that out loud. Cetyltrimethylomonium bromide. Octooxanol-10. Triton X-100. Okay, now you're just making shit up. G-tocopherol hydrogen succinate. Yo, it sucks is you. You and this fucking recipe that apparently cures chickenpox when you actually are given chickenpox with a dash of autism and dum-dum. I'm almost done here. Hydrocortisone. Yeah, of course, can't do anything without that. Gentlemen, why don't you just leave my child alone? Gentamicin sulfate, sodium, there we got some phosphate and some buffered isotonic sodium chloride for that extra phosphate. Baculovirus and Spodoptera frugiperda cell proteins, baculovirus and cellular DNA. Cellular DNA from Miller and Muller again, Madden. I imagine that's somebody's name. You're putting DNA here from people. That's cannibalism. MDCK cell protein, or you still haven't clarified. Protein other than HA, MD. I'm just waiting for etc. 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 And when are all the anti-vax platforms like Del Bigtree going to cave into Ebola? All this talk. It's like you own your own body. But but Ebola's serious. I'm just waiting for these gatekeepers. Robert Kennedy, who I heard was a cokehead. That could be a smear campaign because he's anti-vax. But he's not really. They want safe vaccines. Right. I think the only safe vaccine is you don't fucking touch my child. Let's look at the definition of molestation. Molestation. Now, that means it's the concept of committing or it's been committed. 1. Sexual assault or abuse, or it's either or. Okay? Imagine sexual assault was a form of abuse, but it could just be abuse. Sexual assault or abuse of a person, especially a woman or a child. 2. The action of pestering or harassing someone in an aggressive or persistent manner. Well, we'll just call CPS on you, Child Protective Services. We'll take your child from you. Well, you're trying to neglect your child. Are you trying to kill your child? You're abusing your child. When the abuser is refused the liberty to abuse your child and accuses you of abuse. This is where we're at, folks. Because if they can't guarantee when they come to your door on your property, especially in the US where you have the right to bear arms, they can't identify their name, and their case is they need to save your child or you from a pending virus they can't prove is going to affect you in the future because it's in the future. They can't see through time and space where you're going to contract it and whether you are, unless they're God, which they are now playing. Because it's all through, it's all predicated on the premise at some point in the future, you're not going to be hygienic, and you're going to come down with contracting a dirty germ in some place, and you will die of the measles or Ebola and infect many. So in order to avoid that thing you have not proven will happen in the future. This is a very interesting existential proposition you've brought to my doorstep on the edge of my property. Who are you? Can you prove what you're putting in my child will not have any adverse, harmful effects? You're telling me I have to do it, or you're going to take my child by force? There are snipers in the trees aimed at you right now. Unless you could provide me your name and your home address in the event there are adverse reactions, well, we're definitely not following through with your coercion. Unless you want to coerce me right now at gunpoint, let's have it. I've got snipers in the trees. I imagine the people in the Congo have plenty of snipers in the trees. What if this battlefield was really to fight off the WHO, trying to do a test pilot project on microchipping everyone for a cashless immunization tracking system, New World Order operation. It's unfolding right now. But in the West, you're going to get these sort of clean edits with narration and journalists and no video of anyone profusely bleeding from their orifice as they claim this disease does. And like clockwork too, overturning abortion in every country or every state, measles outbreak. Let's try that with a benign disease. Go full throttle. Say you've got to come in, get the injection, or face jail time. Make it very serious so that when the Ebola comes out, there'll be no questions. No one will challenge it. The gatekeepers will cave in. And they will follow the gatekeepers like the Pied Piper, leading all the lemmings down to the dock. I think that's about all I wanted to say. You do the research for yourself. On the patent, that ingredients list, the link for the ingredients is in the description. And you could look online yourself and monitor how they're starting to really ramp up this spiraling epidemic. On one hand, they say there's no vaccine treatment. On the other hand, they have an effective vaccine. Again, where's the video of the Earth as a globe spinning on its axis, full globe, doing just one rotation? Because all these problems are apparently happening on a globe. Thank you for listening. This has been Guy Waking Up.